to get through their offensive sets. I don't know if they're trying anything new heading into RMLC games, conference games, I guess. But getting ready for postseason, it has started and continues right now.
Sure.
So sharing the rock, hopefully, you can put some points up early and kind of get your starters a little bit of a rest. Quick turnaround before UVU on Saturday, and then you got a few big games to follow that. So, you want to see some execution and see if you can get those legs rested before Saturday.
Yeah, Drew, you mentioned it. Utah has a game on Saturday at UVU. That's Utah Valley at 1 p.m. down in Orem, Utah. Bear still has the ball, unable to find help with that lockdown Utah D. Gets it up to 38. Jarek Hedman. Nice takeaway there by Rylan Lemons. And the Utes will clear. Your starting defense for the Utes tonight is number 33, Devin Keefe, 21, Rylan Lemons, number 5, Seth Neeleman, and then Daniel Costa in goal. Your offense for the Utes, that's number 17, Luke Graney. Sun's in a tricky spot on this field. It does run east to west, which, Drew, I think is one of the reasons they're tearing it down soon.
That's a phenomenal reason to tear it down. These are, perfect times to play the game. Unfortunately, the sun is right in the goalie's face, but it's equal for both teams.
In theory. Josh Stout with the wraparound gets blocked by Utah State, and the Aggies look to clear here. Aaron Felstead gets the ground ball. Nice little second base play there by Felstead. He's looking to go to goal. Goes behind to Graney. Graney settles, gets it up to John Rose, who's uncovered. Takes it in and tries the bounce shot. Bounce just a little too far in front, goes over. Utes backed it up. Ball's up to Reed Lanigan, over to Rose. See Aaron Felstead coming off to get Gus on the field. Ball's going to go to Gus. Gus with a dodge, draws the slide. Ball's behind to Stout, Josh Stout. Over to Quinault Mackey. Tries for that far pipe, goes just wide.
Just a little wide. Good look there, wide open on that wing.
Josh Stout on the restart. His head came off and was still playing. Refs didn't call anything. Number 40 for Utah State, Caden Underwood.
Forgot to put a screw in the head there.
Clearly playing without a head on his shaft, but refs let it slide. Utes get the backup, though, as the ball starts with 18, Quinault Mackey, goes over to 17, Luke Graney. Luke gets it up to Gus. Ball's over to Reed Lanigan. Oh, nice feed to Luke Graney right in the middle. Graney uncovered from the feed from Lanigan. Utes take a 1-0 lead. Gets it up to Belcher. Belcher up to Mackey. Mackey over to Nutter, who gets it to Jake Stout. Jake to his brother Josh. Ball's over to Liam Kavanaugh Fernandez. Draws a slide, nice feed to Mackey. Mackey with the goal on the nice feed from Kavanaugh.
That was a great feed. Mackey did a really good job attacking the pass and keeping his feet moving through the shot. A lot of times you see younger players kind of post up in the middle and stop their feet, which allows the defense to catch up and make a check. But great job there by Mackey. Keep his feet moving, find the ball, bury the ball in the bottom corner there.
Mackey really good at finding space. Has been a key for the Utah offense this year. As we see Abizade out there again for the Utes. Near wing is Cam Redmond. Redmond was ill last game, so didn't play. Far wing is Nick Farnsworth. Abizade wins the clamp, but unable to get the ground ball as we see Farnsworth come away with it. Gets it up to Mackey. Mackey gets it up to Redmond. As Utah settles into their set, gets their offensive personnel on the field. Josh Stout currently with it. Jeremy Sarton gets it up to Jake Stout. Jake finds Redmond, who steps down. Ball's blocked in the middle. As Utah State comes away with it. Good ride there by Redmond. And Redmond comes away with it. Great little heads-up play there by Redmond.
That was great. Yeah, I think you know, Utah may have gotten away with a little bit of a push, but you know, I know these officials, they're going to let things go today.
Stick high side shot there by Stout. Goes right to the goalie for Utah State. Illegal screen called on the Utes. As we see Utah State try to clear. Jake Stout unable to come away with it. Bear with the ball for Utah State. As it's moved up to number 15 there, Miles Russin enters the game with 10 goals and 5 assists for the Aggies. Utah State's about an hour and a half north of here, Drew. Settled into the Cache Valley area.
It's a great little town up there. Well, we've only been able to make it up for a couple football games, but it's a great time every time we've been up there. A little treacherous drive sometimes, but
can be if you time it poorly through Sardine Canyon there. But you're right, great little school. Utah State plays in the Mountain West Conference and all their other sports. As we see Utah push transition here, Watson gets it over to JoJo, who finds Mackey. Mackey takes the hit. Great ball movement there by Utah. And we have a player down. We're gonna take a quick timeout. Join us on the other side.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
We're back here in Salt Lake City. Injury timeout as the medical staff tends to an injured Utah State player. Drew, Utes lead here early in this first quarter, 8:20 left in the first quarter. And I think we've got a replay of that last goal, which was also where the player was injured. Let's see if we can send that to the truck.
yeah, we could hear it up here. There's some helmet-to-helmet contact.
Looks like it might have been his shoulder
Yeah.
that he's grasping for there. Utah State, though, knew immediately that he was injured. And I think we might get the Gator out here, the stretcher.
Oh man, that's never a good sign. Hate seeing players get injured, you know, especially on a roster of, you know, I think Utah State's got maybe 20 on their roster. That's can't really afford any losses. Hopefully it's not too serious of an injury here, and they're just taking every precaution necessary.
It's wise. You know, the University of Utah, very close to several high-quality medical facilities. We had an injury on this field last year. Were you here for that game, the Boise State game?
I was not, no.
player broke his leg.
Oh, no.
It was sad. Scary.
Speaking of broken leg, did you see the replay of Tony Finau's shot at the par 3? Oh, my goodness.
If you're listening, go open a new tab and go Google that.
If you're queasy, man, that, how you come away with a minor sprain and continue to, walk 6 miles at Augusta after a nasty dislocation of your ankle.
Yeah.
Man, what a...
Just wild. Yeah.
Tough guy.
So, I mean,
and when I left, I haven't checked recently, but last saw he was 3 under par.
Really? Tony Finau, a local product here, went to West High School just down the road. So obviously some local interest, but yeah, you score a hole in one, celebrate, going down the hole, and
it started to run backwards a little bit and just rolled his ankle right over, and then popped it back in to place himself.
Yeah, he did. You could watch it on the video. He kind of bends down and just kind of goes.
And then continued to play.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep. So. Great points there, Drew. Let's talk about Utah's remaining schedule. UVU is coming up on Saturday, like we mentioned. We have, that game is at 1 p.m. Mountain Time in Orem, and another RMLC game. Then next week, the Utes go to play Colorado State on Thursday in Fort Collins, and then Colorado on Saturday in Boulder. I believe the Colorado game is at 1 p.m. The Colorado State game is at 7 p.m. Kind of something you see so that we can start our road back there on Saturday and not get home at 4 in the morning. But just midnight.
Just midnight, All these guys are used to the midnight hour.
Yeah, absolutely. Following that game, we have BYU on April 19th.
That'll be a good one.
And then it will be RMLC tournament time. So obviously these two games, the Colorado State game and the BYU game, are all RMLC opponents. And so we will play them, and then the RMLC tournament is going to be in Orem in late April. So more opportunity for Ute fans to get out and see the team. And then the MCLA tournament is here this year. Starts May 7th, ends May 12th. So assuming that BYU and Utah continue to perform, there'll be 2 local teams there for teams to see, assuming that those games go well. And should be a good time. They're actually bringing an ambulance to the field. So we are going to go to commercial break, maybe hit refresh on your browser every 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll join you when we get back.
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly, a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained, and both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me. Let's go. Square up.
Not gonna let me get back to you on that.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. And team stores, let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA, and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes!
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly, a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me. Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. And team stores, let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA, and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes!
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly, a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me. Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. And team stores, let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA, and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, chalkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, remoldable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes!
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly, a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me. Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. And team stores let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes!
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly, a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me. Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. And team stores let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes!
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me. Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. And team stores, let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA, and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes!
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me. Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
We're back here, fans, in Salt Lake City. Brief injury timeout.
Yeah, you hate seeing that anytime, any sport, when an ambulance comes and takes them off. I did see the hang loose sign from Caden Underwood there as they got him on the stretcher. So hopefully they're just being extra precautious and or extra cautious, and they'll take him up to the medical center, check him out. Hopefully he returns to the field here soon.
Yeah, it could make it, we're so close to the hospitals here, it can make it back for the second half.
You know, I've gone to the hospital before. I wish they worked that fast.
Yeah, sure. Your scores here, 3-0 for Utah, about 8:20 left in this first quarter. Like we said, Caden Underwood for the Aggies was injured. Don't want to speculate on what it was. Looks like we do know, though, on that last goal he came up with the hit on cue, so probably something related to that contact. We'll keep you updated if we have any updates. Both teams are just out on the field warming up after the brief delay. If you have any questions for us, go ahead and tweet those in at Utah Lacrosse. We understand the live stream has had a little bit of trouble here and there. Do us a favor and hit refresh if you could on the website. If you're watching on uteslacrosse.com. If you're watching through Lax All-Stars, our production partner, we thank you. And again, any questions, go ahead and send them our way at Utah Lacrosse. Drew, I was going to look up the Utah State schedule on the break and failed to. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the two teams come out. I don't think there was anything. I didn't see anything malicious in that hit, so I don't think there's going to be any extra bad blood between the two teams. That's always kind of a danger that you think about as a coach. Is there going to be any kind of retaliation or anything like that? I definitely wouldn't expect anything of that sort. I think we're going to get back to some more, high, fast-paced and good lacrosse here.
Of note in that regard, the sun is setting, and so the goalies lucked out in that department.
Yeah, I think the Utah coaches kind of wish they would have been able to utilize that sun in the goalie's eyes a little bit more, but you take what you get.
Sure.
So.
Little gamesmanship there. Looks like Utah State has just one game after this. They're at Utah Valley on Tuesday, April 17th.
So, they got a good break.
Yeah, good little break there. That last game will be a fun test. Typically, I'm not going to jinx any team, but typically that game is a good little rivalry game between those two teams. A pretty equally matched there as we have this face-off to get us back into action by Abizaid. Flicks it back to Belcher. He's going to get it. No, fakes the pass. Takes it. Gets it to the wing with Cole Watson. So Utah State has played Colorado State, and BYU and lost all of those games. So they are currently at the bottom of the RMLC.
They've got, I think out of their 20-man roster, they've got 13 freshmen on there.
Yeah.
14 freshmen. And, so I think it bodes well for their future. Certainly tough having a small roster that's young, for the near term anyway.
Absolutely. Josh Stout with the shot that's saved, and Utah State clears here. Looks like they have numbers. Shot wide. Looked like number 10, maybe 11. Utah State with the backup. As we see Utah State settle in their offense, you mentioned a young team. You know, I think the key to having a young team is getting those guys who are getting this valuable experience to stick around. You know, that's something that Utah struggled with for a long time, was getting, you know, juniors and seniors to stick around for all 4 years, because that just does so much for a team. See a nice shot there by Utah State, great save by Costa, and Aiden Christian able to come away with it. Christian goes all the way upfield, tries to find Farnsworth, ball still down. Good ground ball there by number 14, Jeff Brugerman, for the Aggies as they get the ball back.
Yeah, I think the Utah coaches are going to be talking to him maybe about settling that transition a little bit more. I don't think there's a need for the long, difficult pass there.
It's a great point, Drew, as we see Utah State settled in their offense. Aaron Felstead going up against number 13, Braxton Fell. Good defense there. Fell is the Aggies' leading scorer, coming in this game with 18 goals, 3 assists, 21 points on the year.
Yeah.
Moving screen there, called on the Aggies. As we'll see Steele Heaton come away with the ball off the end line. Gets it up to Kelowna. Easy clear there for Gus. Nice little move, finds space. Up ahead to Watson. This is Watson's area. He doesn't miss from there, Drew. I don't know if the fans there have tuned into all our games, but that's Cole Watson's shot.
You called it right on. Saw him getting topside there. Kind of an area of the field where every defender is told to keep the Dodger away from. Did a great job getting topside and found the bottom corner.
Great little replay here. Nice shot. Abazade out there for the Utes. John Rose on the far wing. Chris Belcher on the near wing. Abazade gets the win. Goes to Stout, who fakes the shot, then finds Watson, who goes down to the ground and buries it. Nice little transition play there for Utah.
That was a really great handle to come up with that pass, and then presence of mind to still be able to slot it past the goalie, even though the goalie was attacking the shot.
There was I think it was the Lacrosse Network. They had a goal going around, and it was of a player scoring on his knees. And they said, "Have you ever scored on your knees?"
Well,
and
there you go.
It was a Twitter poll or an Instagram story poll, and so Cole Watson must have seen that and made that his goal today. So
mission accomplished.
Abazade out there again for the Utes. Goes back to Belcher. Belcher with the ground ball. Abazade is going to run off to get Jake Stout on. Ball's with Josh Stout. Ball's with Liam Kavanaugh Fernandez. Drives the wing. And headed past to Watson, quickly over to Josh Stout. Jake Stout with the pick. There's the matchup Utah wants. Josh Stout with a short stick. Great move by Stout. Passes forward to Watson. Watson's going to drive. Nice save by Baskin. Utes come away with it. Josh Stout with it.
It's amazing how many times Stout comes out of a scrum with a ground ball. He's got a nose for it.
Absolutely. One of many of his strengths. Little hidden ball trick. Ball's with Gus. Now over to Jake. Utes working around here about late in this first quarter. Utes have a 5-0 lead. Nice little two-man game with Jake Stout and Gus Colonna, and Jake just leans into it and buries it.
Man, that takes me back to the Stockton Malone days right there. That was a beautiful pick and roll. Very well executed. Like all high school teams, all youth teams really should take note there.
Yep. Nice little play. Great placement on that shot by Stout. Loves to get on that step down on the wing. So you see the staff there congratulating the guys. Great shot by our cameraman down there, Nano.
Thanks, Nano.
You want some trivia on Nano?
Absolutely.
Where did he play high school lacrosse?
Well, I don't know him.
Okay.
No idea what state he's from. I'm going to guess he played for Weber.
He did not. He played at Contwood High School. When Contwood High School was around. We got a flag down. They're going to catch Utah jumping off sides there. Josh Stout decided to chase the clear and didn't have a guy back.
Cottonwood High School, that would be a great school to see a little resurgence. I know there's been some attempts.
Yeah, it's you know, centrally located. It's between two of the bigger programs in the state with Brighton and Olympus, and you'd think that it'd have a little bit more momentum, but you know, with sanctioning coming in a couple of years, it could be a reality.
Could definitely help. They need to you know, start a youth program, get those numbers up, and you know, kind of like what Utah State is doing with their freshmen. Try and get some players in early, keep them around, and keep the program growing.
Utah, like we said, called for offsides, so we'll see the Utah State man-up unit here. Great shot, goes wide. Utah's man-down defense today is Daniel Costa in goal. Dean Anderson is the short stick. 13 still Heaton. 7, Chris Belcher. 5, Seth Neeleman. 47 is Aiden Christian. That is a mean man-down unit.
That is a real mean man-down unit.
Belcher able to get a stick on it, but still finds a Utah State. Shot there on the wing by the Aggies goes right to Costa, who is up to the challenge. Outlets it to Anderson.
Not a whole lot of movement on that man up from Utah State there. It kind of settled for an outside shot. A little bit early, I think.
So Utes still man down here. Actually, looks like he was just released. So even strength here. As the ball is with 17, Luke Graney. Luke Graney from Draper, Utah, played at Juan Diego High School. It's a nice feed from Graney, finds Watson, and again, Watson in the right spot at the right time.
That was a great feed. Graney did a great job keeping his head up on the dodge. You know, perfect feed, beautiful finish. I think that's exactly how coaches drove it up. Tim, I got a question. Is Graney PhD yet?
Almost. Yeah, I think he's working on his thesis. So.
Seems like he's been around a minute.
Yeah.
Good to see him back out on the field.
I think he had 2 injuries that have allowed him to get 2 injury years. I do believe he's a senior, though, this year, and probably his last year. You see Jacob Chang out there for the Utes, able to come away with the clamp. Scoops it back to Belcher, gets it up to Rose. It is fun to watch Graney, you know, a staple on a lot of these Utah teams. He's been through thick and thin with 2 coaching staffs. You know, lots of highs and lows, and you know, in both of those staffs, and so just good to see him stick with it. Definitely a student of the game. He is the team president. Some teams in the MCLA, that role means something different than others, but does a lot for the team in that regard. As we see Liam Kavanaugh Fernandez with the step down, far pipe.
That's a real quick release. I think may have caught goalie a little bit off guard. You hope that goalie's in there standing tall, ready for anything, but you know, he was a little bit far out. Just a real fast release, overhand, found the bottom corner.
Just like you practice in the backyard, Drew.
Just like you practice. I wish players would practice like that a little bit more than 8 yards in front and sidearm.
Sure. Drew is a native of Salt Lake City, went to Skyline High School.
Yes, sir.
Coached at Skyline High School until recently.
Till recently, yeah. You know, had a couple girls come our way, and it takes a little bit of time to raise twins.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll be honest, Drew, I wanted twins.
Yeah?
But haven't come yet, so we'll see what the future brings.
Hang in there, Tiger. If you have any questions, let me know.
I'm not sure that's how it works, but we'll see. Gus Colonna with the ball. Nice little ride here by Utah State. Colonna able to come around it. Gets a touch in the box. Again, fans, thanks for joining us here. Utah leads 8-0 late in this first quarter.
Looks like we may have a little bit of a zone defense here from Utah State.
Cat. See how the Utes adjust. Grayson Goodyear with the ball. Talked to Grayson's dad before the game. Excited to be here. He's from Colorado. Jeremy Sarton with the ball. Gets it over to Gus. Good inside feed to Stout. Unable to handle. Gus comes away with it. About 10 seconds left.
10 seconds remaining. 10 seconds.
Utah struggling a little bit here, Drew, with that zone. So we see Graney with a shot at the end. Good shot. Goes just high. And that'll do it here from the first quarter. Utah leads 8-0. Feel free to send us your questions at Utah Lacrosse. We're going to take a quick quarter break. Join us on the other side for the second quarter.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. In team stores, let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA, and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
And we're back, lacrosse fans, here for the second quarter. Utah 8, Utah State 0. Drew was just asking me in the break about the new lacrosse stadium that's going to be built. And said, let's wait, answer that question on there. So this stadium is actually going to be torn down for various times, so I'm not going to say a time. But in the near future, this will be removed, and this will be turned into student housing. And so the school has purchased this area from athletics. And so the school will then put in, basically replicate this same thing over just due north of here. As we see Chang come away with the face-off win, gets it to Stout, gets over to JoJo. But the stadium will be about 300, 400 yards north of here in an area of grass that's just vacant right now. It'll share some facilities with the softball field, so it'll be just directly west of the softball field if you're familiar with the campus here.
Well, I hope they run that field north-south.
It will be. That's one of the
Beautiful.
That's one of the big pitches. Then there'll actually be a main field. Then to the west of that main field will be the tower, you know, kind of the stadium where the locker rooms and offices will be. And then there'll actually be a turf field to the west of that. That'll be used as like a warm-up field and a practice field,
Fantastic.
both for women's soccer and men's lacrosse. So
that's awesome.
yeah, exciting times here. Obviously, with the announcement of going Division I next season, you know, and then the stadium coming on the heels of that. So lots going on. You see a nice inside feed from Lanigan to Redmond. Great save though by Baskin.
A fantastic save there.
Baskin is senior for the Aggies. So you see Stout on the wing, gets it up to Felstead. Felstead carries, turns. Redmond to Stout. Stout with a lot of leverage, catching that in the tail end of his strife there. Shot goes just wide. Feel free to send us your tweets on air at Utah Lacrosse. If you don't have a Twitter, now is the perfect time to sign up with one. So we see a nice shot fake there by Stout. Allows that defense to roll, gets the ball to Redmond, who buries it right in front of the crease.
Redmond did a great job just simply moving into space, you know, again attacking the pass, and then an over-the-top finish into a bottom corner. Great fundamentals right there.
A little bit of confusion maybe by some of the Utah State players.
Yeah, I don't know how much they practice the zone. I hope they practice it quite a bit, but it's always difficult. You got to have phenomenal communication to run a zone defense. And, you know, you got a bunch of freshmen on the team, and, you know, communication isn't necessarily the strong point as a freshman.
Right. Chain coming away with the clamp, unable to get the ground ball, but John Rose comes up with it. Aggies still fighting hard here, even though being down 9-0. So we see Rose go back to Neeleman, who gets it over to Keefe. Keefe's looking upfield for help. Throws it in the middle of the Rose, but good defense there. As JoJo comes up with it, that's Joseph Olivas, nicknamed JoJo. Gets it over to Rose, gets it to Stout on the wing. So the Utes settle into their offense. Drew, what you know, the zone defense kind of gets a bad rap sometimes. What are some scenarios though where you know it can pay dividends?
Well, if you get I guess a short bench.
Sure.
You know, if you're out, I don't know what the term would be, but you know, if you can't keep up with the athletes from your, you know, on the opponent's side, kind of settling into a zone defense and trying to force more outside looks, you know, can be successful. So you just got to have great communication. You got to stay tight. Everybody's got to be on the same page as far as your rotations go, and it's really difficult, especially with you know, like I said before, the young team. But I would expect a zone out of them on and off throughout the rest of the game.
Okay, so we see some good defense there by Utah State. Able to clear, get settled in their offense. Haven't seen a ton out of the Utah State offense tonight. Maybe we can get a couple, some momentum here. Unfortunate there for the Aggies is the ball deflects right to Josh Stout. He's going to push tempo, gets it to JoJo. Big save by Baskin, able to get his foot on it. They're going to call in the crease on JoJo. Going to give the ball back to Utah State. So great individual save there by Berkeley Baskin.
Yeah, JoJo's going to want that one back.
Right. And Utah State's going to call a timeout. So we're going to take that timeout with them. Join us for the rest of the second quarter after this.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes.
And we're back, fans, here from Salt Lake City, Utah. 11:05 remaining in this second quarter. If you're just joining us or recently joined us, we had about a 20-minute injury timeout. Utah State player was carted off in an ambulance. Haven't heard any news on him yet, but we will try to work up something here at halftime. If you have any questions for us for this broadcast, feel free to tweet at us at Utah Lacrosse, and we'll answer those on air. We do have a flag down coming out of the timeout. Looks like Utah is going to have an illegal stick. And he's going to get that one locked in there.
That's a 3-minute. Looks like
it's Josh Stout.
Like Josh Stout's head. So 3 minutes means that there's an issue with the plastic, whether it's a measurement, too short or too pinched. If it was the mesh, pocket being too deep or something, that's a 1 minute. He can fix it, take it back, but that stick has to stay on the table the rest of the game. So hopefully his backup is up to par when he returns here in 3 minutes.
I've used his backup, to be honest with you.
So it's got to be above par.
It was great for me.
Yeah.
But who knows what will happen for Josh. So Utah man down here for 3 minutes, regardless of if the goals are scored. Man down unit is Chris Belcher, Steele Heaton. Belcher gets the pop. Dean Anderson, Aiden Christian, and Seth Neeleman, as we're going to have a flag. And the ball goes out of bounds. We're going to get a push on Belcher. So Utes going to be 2 men down here.
We have a loose ball push, 30-second violation called on the Utes.
Yeah, it looks like Belcher's getting a little talking to from Holman there, not liking the pretty blatant push in the back there. He's got to be a little bit smarter and play position.
Ball's up. As Utes are 2 men down here. Utah's going to come away with the ball. And they're going to clear to Felstead, who's wide open. So Utah still 2 men down here. Felstead has it. It's going to be Felstead, JoJo, Q, and Gus on offense for Utah.
Man, so not only can Utah State, well, now we're just 1 man down for Utah now.
Yeah, Belcher's penalty released as Jake Stout gets it. He's going to be content to just work it around.
It's a tough situation, right? You're down quite a bit. You want to cause turnovers, but you're also got a really short bench. So, sending 2 guys to double, might tire your guys out.
Sure.
And
yeah, especially if Utah's going to keep doing what they're doing and spread it real wide.
Yeah, I'd almost, as boring as it would be, hang back and put a free slide in the middle.
Felstead content to just work it around. Looks like they locked off Gus for a little bit there. Gets it over to Jake Stout. And again, Drew, you mentioned a lot of the Utah State players are freshmen, so maybe not familiar with the situation they're in. As both teams sub. Redmond's got it, fresh legs.
There's also the thought that, what do you have to lose?
Sure.
So
we see a great wraparound goal there by Redmond. Those fresh legs paid dividends, getting that shorthanded goal. Nice little individual play. Score is 10-0 for Utah. I believe Stout will still remain in the box. Utes will take the man down face-off here. Chang's going to be the face-off man with Rylan Lemons on that far wing. This near wing is empty. Chang wins the clamp, gets it back to himself, looks upfield, goes to Lemons. Lemons takes it. Utah still shorthanded. JoJo moves it to Felstead, who's wide open, and gets the bounce shot. So 2 shorthanded goals there for Utah. Nice little ball movement. That all started, though, with Chang getting that face-off win.
You gotta love having a dominant face-off guy. I'm not sure how many the Utes have won tonight, but pretty much all of them.
Pretty close,
so
yeah.
It's kind of a make-it-take-it situation for them.
Yep, so Utah still man down. We got a question coming in. Eric Felstead tweets in. Eric is Aaron Felstead's older brother. He asks, why are Utah State and UVU in the Division I RMLC with BYU, Utah CU, and CSU? It doesn't make sense from a competition standpoint. Drew, you know the answer to that one?
I don't. To be quite honest with you, I was going to try and make up something, but I don't. I hope that those teams, UVU and Utah State, might be able to kind of up the support of lacrosse at the school and increase their level of play to make it a little bit more competitive. But it's certainly a tough task.
Coach Holman giving Steve Niederhauser an earful there as Q hits the turf, but Utah retains. Gus Colonna with the ball. Drew the nice takeaway check there by Utah State. Gus chases it down, gets it to Christian. Not sure what the call was on that one.
That's going to be a loose ball push.
Okay.
Yeah.
Utah State takes over, and I believe we are all even, which we are. So Utah State unable to capitalize on that 2-man down, and then that 1-man down for 3 minutes. But for a while there in the MCLA, Drew, there was a rule where if you had Division I football, you had to play in Division I MCLA.
Okay.
I am
not sure who made up that rule.
I'm not certain anymore if that rule is still in effect. I haven't been in the MCLA meetings, but then I also know, so Utah State won the Division II RMLC a couple years ago, and so I think there was a big push for them to, they blew teams out.
Right.
It wasn't pretty, and so I think there was a big push to get them up, and then I believe having 6 in your conference gets you an AQ bid, and so there was a big push for Utah State and UVU to join that Division I so that the RMLC could have that automatic bid.
So it really comes down to both teams just needing to do a better job recruiting and I think growing their program.
Absolutely, I think they can. Like I said, Utah State won the RMLC Division II a couple years ago, maybe, probably 3 or 4 by now. But, in my opinion, it comes down to having a consistent coaching staff, and something that both UVU and Utah State really haven't had. Not that they haven't had great coaches. I'm talking, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years at the helm.
Right.
To really put their practices in place, really learn. If you're switching coaches out every 2, 3 years, it's really hard to establish what your team looks like. As we see a great little lefty goal there by Jake Stout, 6:18 mark here in this game. Utah leads. Let's see, what do we got? 12-0 for the Utes. But I think, in my opinion, that's what it comes down to. And I'd preach that at the high school level as well. The consistently good teams in Utah high school lacrosse have had long tenured coaches.
Absolutely. And at least coaches that have been within the program moving up. And
Sure. So, Eric, hope that answers your question.
Just a wealth of knowledge over here, Tim.
I pretend to have a wealth of knowledge. Whether I do or not is up to the viewer. As we see Chang coming away with the face-off win there. Flag down. Ball's down. On the ground. Watson gets it off the pipe. Luke comes away with it. Ball's up with Belcher. I guess, Drew, the follow-up question.
Wow.
We see a filthy goal by Chris Belcher.
Just stung that corner.
You know, he played on the man-up unit at his high school.
Oh, I know. I know. We played against him.
Not afraid to shoot it.
Not all the kids got a cannon, and as you can see there, fairly accurate sometimes.
Yeah. Wow, what a goal. Let's see if we can get a replay on that one.
Getting some love from Coach Ratliff down there.
Yep, guest coach tonight, Scott Ratliff, joining us.
We have a one-minute slash called on the Aggies.
Utes lead here 13-0. Tweet coming in from Virtually Varsity, new website that's popped up, run mainly by Jordan Harris, an old BYU player and coach. Old as in not by age, but former BYU player and coach. Sorry, Jordan. He tweets in kind of response to that. These types of games aren't good for either team. Developing teams shouldn't be forced into playing games where they lose by 20 plus 4 times a year. If D2 isn't for development, then we need a league that is. This is how you lose teams. Strong opinion, and I have to agree.
You know, it's not a good visual for the Utah State lacrosse team and anybody thinking about going to play Utah State. I mean, who wants to go into games and just get blown out all the time?
Sure. And that was going to be my follow-up to before Belcher scored, is how do you kind of prevent that? You know, it's hard because you have, if you have a Division II team who is developing and has a good senior class, consistent coaching like Utah State had when they won it, you know, and then you say, okay, you know, you need to move up. That coach moves on, you know, loses all that. You know, I guess the question is how much time in between, you know, do you reevaluate every season?
Right.
Do you reevaluate every 2 seasons? You know, what does that time look like, so that it would be fair, but also encourage growth and not sandbagging. You know, both golfers here, the familiar
right.
to the
yes, absolutely.
Sandbagging,
you know,
at the D2 level.
It's kind of like how the high school league was, I don't know, 7 years ago or so, where there were the 2 divisions.
Yep.
And, you know, one of the greatest things that happened to Skyline was, you know, we were getting blown out by Division I teams all the time. We dropped down to D2, built up for a couple years, got a winning program that the youth players, you know, I don't know if it had much of effect, you know, on them seeing a winning lacrosse team. You know, they don't know it's a D2 league, but they see that Skyline is winning. They start playing a little bit more. It becomes a little bit more of the cool thing, and then it worked for Skyline. Now, college is a different ball game.
Sure.
You know.
But I mean, you bring up a good point. So, you know, Utah unable to get the man-up goal there. Great shot by Staley's, or better say by Baskin, as we see Utah State come away with it. But, you know, is there a scenario where, you know, there's a little bit more liquidity in between the divisions? And then, you know, you might be right. Are there players at Utah State right now who aren't playing because they don't want to come playing games like that? And, you know, you can get into whether that's right or wrong. You know, whatever. But
yeah, that's kind of a more philosophical conversation.
Sure.
Than,
but you know, it could be a reality.
Sure.
So, Utah gets the ball back. Quinalt Mackey up to Reed Lanigan, gets it over to Jeremy Sarton. Good question by Eric. Led to a lot of conversation. Feel free to tweet in any of your other questions. Drew, you know, if you got questions about having twins, Drew's your expert there.
Certainly not an expert. We've kept them alive for 4 months.
If you've got questions about raising 3 daughters, then I'm your man for that.
Oh man, good on you.
And if you have questions about having boys, I can't. You have one of each, right?
No, 2 girls.
2 girls.
2 girls.
If you have questions about raising boys, tweet someone else. Can't help you there. Utah State with the ball. 3 minutes left in this first half. Good ride here by Utah. John Rose coming away with the turnover. Ball's up with Luke Graney. Drew, we've been in a couple of these games already this season. My other co-host, Matt Duke Rosati, felt that in games like this, if you're Utah State, your goal is just to win the next quarter.
Sure.
Or win the next 5 minutes or whatever. So probably the strategy there for the Aggies.
Absolutely. You just really focus on every little thing. You know, where can you get better? Where can you improve? You know, win the next play.
Utah State with a little bit of a trickery as their goalie came out of the cage cradling like he had it. Errant pass by the Aggies. Give the ball back to Utah here. Under 2 minutes. Again, we are here in Salt Lake City, Utah, at Utes Soccer Field, right in the heart of the University of Utah campus.
Staring at the Huntsman Center Dome.
We are.
What a great arena that is.
Okay, Huntsman Center trivia. What has been the biggest game played there?
It's got to be the, what year was that? The NCAA tournament. It was Michigan and, oh.
You know the game, though.
Yeah, I know the game. Man.
It was the famous Larry Bird
and
Magic Johnson in the NCAA championship. That game was held at the Huntsman Center. Let me see if I can get a date on that for you. Nothing quick on Google. I want to say probably late 80s.
Sure, sounds right to me.
Maybe late 70s. Saturday, the NCAA Gymnastics Regionals will be there. Utah with one of the top 5 women's gymnastics teams in the country.
Those are some fantastic events.
Frequently fill up the Huntsman Center. They claim about 14,000, 15,000 people at those events.
Yeah, easily.
I believe at one point, if it's not still that way, it was the highest attended women's collegiate athletics event.
I buy it.
In the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, got a Utah timeout here, 15 seconds left. We'll stay with you. Drew, what do you think the offense is drawing up here?
Well, we got 15 seconds, so my guess is a shot with maybe 2 or 1 second left on the clock there. They're going to swing it. I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to, you know, somewhere getting the ball wide and having somebody sneak back into open area in front. We've seen that a few times today.
If you're Utah State, what are you telling the defense?
Stay tight. Stay tight. Man, it'd be really cool if they came out and maybe doubled the ball and sent their goalie out.
Yeah,
kind of junk it up a little bit.
Maybe get into that zone that kind of tripped up the Utes a little bit.
I mean, you don't want to allow anything inside. You know, you want to force bad angle shots, so maybe go back into that zone, see if you can throw something at the Utes that they're not prepared for.
Utes trotting out on the field there. Ball's going to start with Q. He's got JoJo to his right, Josh Stout, Cam Redmond, Gus Colonna, and Aaron Felstead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, 15 seconds remaining in the first half, 13-0.
Feel free to send us your questions at halftime at Utah Lacrosse. And we'll try to answer them after the second half. I guess during the second half, not after it. Although after it might be fun.
After it could be fun, yeah.
There's Felstead, gets it to Stout on the wing. And a goal. Nice little play drawn up there by the Utes.
Absolutely.
I think there was a little trick screen there on the inside. As Stout comes away. That's his first goal of the night.
Well, it did a great, you know, it's driving across the top. They kind of pulled the adjacent guy to him. Stout faded into his favorite spot, it seems like, on the wing. And he's pretty money from that area.
Yep. Great position, great little step down. Again, his first goal of the night, 3rd point. He has had 2 assists so far. Utes leading scorer coming into this game. He's had a great sophomore season for the Utes as we see Chang out there. As time expires. So that's going to do it for the first half here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Utah 14, Utah State 0. Feel free to send us your tweets and we'll see you on the other side.
First half of action, the Utah Utes have a 14-0 lead.
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly, a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me? Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. In team stores, let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes!
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly, a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me? Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. And team stores let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA, and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes!
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly, a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me. Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. And team stores let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA, and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
At Sisu, we take a very scientific approach to making sure our technologically advanced, doctor-developed, scientifically backed, industry-changing mouthguards are the most protective, lightest, talkable, breathable, comfortable, drinkable, removable mouthguards on the planet to guarantee you're protected. No matter what comes your way, the Sisu Next Gen. Sisu, talk, breathe, drink.
Lacrosse fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete.
Number 24. Jake Chang's going to face off against number 14. Jeff Ruggins. Number 23, all the way from Hillsview, just by number 9, Jay Rose. We have officials timeout.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we save you time and money. And team stores, let us do your work. Our deals for both men's and women's MCLA teams are flat out lax-tastic. We just made that up. Sublimated unis, made in the USA, and delivered on time. Tribal West, proud to be family owned and player operated. Tribal West, look good, play better.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
We have a 3-minute non-releasable penalty called on the Utes. Shot by Wagner. Shot by the keeper. He gets on the side of the net. Back time.
Reed, Boston! Hey! Mike. John, take a shot when you get it. Throw the dust, Dale. Phil, what are you doing? Yeah, Dale, we're going to keep it. Yes, nice, you got it. Come on, John. Hold on, look. Get him up, Blake.
Is that penalty release? 10:50 cents.
Hey, get on in. Hey, we're still man up. Let's go. Go. Double. Nate. Double. Oh. Nate. Yes, sir. Stop that first. Nate. Hey, Nate.
Another big save by Postgame.
Hit to him. Gus, you're mini now.
Table blue.
I'm a mini.
Yes. Offside 30.
Jake, Boston. No, even, and then we're going to do that up again. John, how much time is it? Gus. Oh, fuck. Boston.
Table. How much on that first penalty?
10:56.
Stick around for the game.
So we got a little bit of a 5-on-5 here. As Nutter's still in the box. State penalty. Shot by Stout. Good save. Aston's just going to heave it. And Christian comes over with it. Gets it up to Cam Wagner. Penalty has been released. And now the Utah penalty. So all even here. Score is 15-0. 10:49 left in this ball game. Excuse me, third quarter. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Sorry, fans. Feels like the fourth quarter, but still have lots of time here. See Fernandez.
Number 4, Schumacher is going to be facing off against number 6, Mike Robinson.
Chris, Nico, Nate, or is that rotation with Colts, right? So you guys know what I'm saying.
Utah. Went to East High School. This is my favorite trivia question to ask on all of our broadcasts, so apologize if you're the fans out there have heard this before. What would be my trivia question for East High School? What famous movie was filmed there?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I did tune in to the last broadcast you had, so I know the answer.
Okay, High School Musical.
Right.
That was the famous one.
Never seen it, but I have a feeling that it's in my future with
yeah,
two girls
absolutely,
at home.
absolutely it is. Your wife hasn't seen it?
No.
Okay, well.
Or if she has, she'd watch it without me there.
Great goal there by JoJo, getting his first goal of the game. If you watch High School Musical, Drew, not that, well, you would know, but to the fans out there watching High School Musical, Utah alum Mike Calvert was in that movie. So next time,
definitely not surprised.
When you watch it next, pay attention, and you might see him there. So
absolutely, yeah. Love Calvert. He was, I believe, a senior when I got, or maybe a junior when I came over to Skyline. So I was able to play a couple years with him. And
he was a great player here up at the U. Played 4 years for the Utes. Was part of a team that made a lot of strides in the RMLC and the MCLA. As we see Seth Neeleman out there taking the face. Seth, that's not an unknown thing for Seth. He took a bunch of the draws last year for Utah. As we see Utah State ultimately come up with it. Nice double team, though, by Tommy O'Day and Steele Heaton, which leads to Neeleman coming away with it. He's going to settle and get in his clear. Get it over to Johns, who gets it up to Dean. Dean unable to handle it, though. Pass a little high. And Utah State will take it back. I'm trying to think of other trivia items I got for you, Drew. Nothing's coming to mind, though, right now. We'll get there, though.
I'm sure you'll come up with something. How about the Utah Jazz putting a whooping on the Clippers so far?
Yeah, they're playing well,
like
man.
80-58. 5 minutes left in the third there, so.
Good to see the Jazz play well. It's been a while, and obviously Donovan Mitchell has a lot to do with that. Quinn Snyder has a lot to do with that. Donovan Mitchell, though, I mean, just a fun player to watch.
He's a lot of fun,
He just gets you excited about watching Jazz basketball, which I'm not a big Jazz fan, but I found myself watching several games this year because of him. So.
Man, I live and died by the Jazz when I was growing up. I may have hung out around practice when they were over at Westminster.
Yeah. I'm not much older than you, but it was hard for me because it was during the Stockton and Malone era, but it was also during the Michael Jordan Pippen era. And so I actually found myself being a Bulls fan.
That's unfortunate. See, I was the kid without much I guess financial acuity, so I traded all of my Michael Jordan cards for John Stockton cards.
Oh man, I love it.
And I've got sheets of Stockton cards now, and all my Jordan cards are in other hands, unfortunately.
Okay. Cole Watson dodges from X, looks for JoJo. Smooth Ian Nelson able to come up with it. About 5:30 left in this game in the third quarter. Utes lead 19-0. Jeremy Sartin with the ball. Gets it up to Jake Stout. Over Smooth on the step down. Shot just wide. Sends it into the trees.
There's a sidearm.
Yeah, several calls from the bench. Shoot overhand.
Yeah, yep.
Yes.
I actually coached Ellison on a club team in the summer, a few tournaments, and same deal, just harping on shooting overhand. When he shoots overhand, man, he's good. That sidearm can get a little loose sometimes.
That's one of the very first things that the coaches and staff will preach in the very first practices of fall is you shoot sidearm, you're running.
Yeah,
so
I love it. There's a time and place, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
If you're shooting around a defender coming at you, sidearm, absolutely. But, wide open like that, staring down the goalie, you got to overhand, just make it difficult on the goalie, change planes.
Utes in their offense here. Ball's with Ian Nelson. Up to Reed Lanigan. Shot by Grayson Goodyear.
Just missed the outside pipe there.
Cole Watson, nice save by Baskin. JoJo comes up with it, finds Goodyear with the quick stick. Nice little heads-up play there by the Ute attack.
Yeah, great job staying in the play. Looked like Utah State got caught trying to communicate matchups instead of watching the ball, watching their man, and kind of communicating without looking.
And fans, we've got a special guest here on the broadcast. I want to welcome in Scott Ratliff. Scott, how are you? Good. Thanks for being willing to do this.
Yeah, it's nice to be here with you instead of tweeting at you for once.
Yeah, Scott, a big fan of Utah Lacrosse, obviously friends with the coaching staff. Scott, what are some things that you've seen out of this Utah team this season that you've really liked?
Well, I just think it's so impressive the way that they, just continue to play extremely hard and extremely unselfishly, despite maybe not every game being the most competitive. I think this is a perfect example tonight, and, it's hard sometimes when you get big leads or you expect to win a game. It's hard to kind of maintain that level of focus, and, Coach Holman and these guys have done a really good job of just continuing to play the right way, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Scott, you've been out here a couple of times, been around the team a couple of times. What's something about this coaching staff that maybe you've learned or that you continue to learn while you're around them?
I think my favorite thing about them is they do things differently. You get a chance to be around a lot of different teams, and a lot of times it's kind of the same things over and over, and they're teaching the same way, and you kind of get into the same routine. And these guys mix it up and they keep it fresh. And one day they're doing yoga, and one day they're going and they're doing service work in the city or whatever it is. So that's my favorite thing, is just to come out here and see how different it is compared to any other program in the country. And if I were a kid playing, I couldn't imagine anywhere else better to be.
You mentioned, being around the team a lot, seeing the coaching, mixing it up. You've had an opportunity to kind of work with the long pole Chris Belcher. What are some things that you've told him? Maybe what are some advice that you give young players in general?
Oh, I mean, first and foremost, with him, I tell him that the sky's the limit. I mean, he's got the potential to play this game at the very highest level. So, when you have somebody who's that talented and who works as hard as he does, there's not a ton you can teach him. I just try to encourage him and tell him to keep expanding his game. He likes to play offense, and he's great off the ground, and he plays defense, and so just encouraging him to keep doing all of those things, and really just to keep striving to be great. I mean, I think he's a guy that could play in the pros in a few years if he sticks with it.
Awesome. Where can people find you on social media?
Twitter, I'm at SRAT2. On Instagram, at Scott Ratliff2. Get those followers up, Ute fans. Would love to see you guys on there.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Scott. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys.
And we want to thank Scott Ratliff for coming on as the Utes get a goal there. 21st goal of the game by Dalton Ziegler out of Colorado. It's been one of the fun things that I've enjoyed being around this program, Drew, is sort of the diversity that the coaches bring to practice. They put a lot of thought into practice, what they're going to be doing. One of my favorite things is the scenarios that they come up with that they practice. As we see a shot shot wide by Farnsworth. One of the last things they do in practice is they call it the WTGC, win the close game. So WTCG, win the close game. And they'll have different scenarios that they'll put the squads in, and expect them to play in those environments. And it's been something that's really fun for me. I kind of equate it to you're in your backyard with your friends and you're thinking about different scenarios, winning the NCAA championship in basketball, last second shot or stuff like that. And that's kind of what I equate it to. So definitely something to note. It's been fun being around the coaching staff, like you said, as they're coming up with new things, different ways to engage the players, different ways to keep things fresh. NCAA lacrosse season, MCLA lacrosse season can get monotonous. These guys are starting first weekend in September, and they've been at it ever since then. So it's definitely important to keep things fresh at this level.
Well, it's just going to pay dividends for them next year and in the future. Keeping it fresh and getting the players involved in the community, I think, is huge. You know, they're here to, you know, play lacrosse and win games and compete, but they're also growing as young men, you know, and I think a program that can put out guys that are positive community leaders, I think that helps it even go back to the recruiting. You know, you can use that strength for your recruiting and continue to build the program and keep doing things, you know, the right way.
Keep your tweets coming in, fans, at Utah Lacrosse, as we get late into this third quarter. Scott Ratliff, obviously a long-stick midfielder for the Atlanta Blaze. He and Coach Gittleman are fast friends and travel every summer to not necessarily exotic locations, but non-traditional lacrosse locations, and you know, help spread the game that way. So we see a nice little inside play there for JoJo to Liam, but Baskin up to the task.
Yeah, again, a little bit of miscommunication from Utah State. They sent both guys down to the corner, kind of anticipating the next pass in the rotation, and Utah did a great job kind of creating that space in the middle, finding the feed. Just got to do a better job finishing the shot.
Utah State with a timeout here. 26 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Utah
Lacrosse
leads
fans, let's talk for a minute about the Utah Lacrosse Founders Club. A lot of you out there are already members, but to those who aren't, we need you. Founders Club members want to see this team compete at the highest level of Division I lacrosse, so help out by signing up for a recurring monthly donation. These donations start at just $5 a month and get you season tickets, team merchandise, and access to team events. Your contributions go to making the team top-tier competitive as we usher in the Division I era. Coaches' salaries, player scholarships, team travel, helmets, recruiting trips, team meals, and more. These funds prepare the groundwork for a successful program. Please consider going to our donation page at uteslacrosse.com and becoming a Utah Lacrosse Founders Club member today. Go Utes.
And we're back, lacrosse fans. This is a good shot there of the Utah State team. Drew, 26 seconds left in the third quarter. Utah State calls a timeout. What do you think the message is in this huddle?
Win the next 23 seconds. Yeah. You know, I think if they can come away with a goal, that's a huge positive. But you know, also, I think they have to clear the ball. Is that right? So
no, they've got it.
Okay, they've got it down there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm up here so high, you know, off the ground. I lost track of where I was. So, yeah, they're going to, you know, focus on execution.
Okay.
Plain and simple, right? I'm sure they've got a play drawn up. Hopefully they've got a few different looks out of that in case Utah comes out and junks it up with a zone or something unique. But my guess is they look for Braxton Fell, their leading scorer, maybe coming off a pick, trying to get a shot here with no time left.
Okay. Utah number 2 is Tanner Smith for the Aggies, going up against Ben Adams, but Liam Kavanaugh Fernandez gets it and shoots it as time expires. And so that's going to end the third quarter. Nice little heads-up play there by Liam to send it. Just goes wide. Needs to practice that long-distance shot.
That's a tough ask right
Sure.
there. That's a long toss.
We're going to take a quick break and be back for the fourth quarter.
What does University Credit Union and the Utah men's lacrosse team have in common? Surprisingly, a lot. Both like the color red. Both can be found here on campus. Both are great for the community. Both are well-trained. And both are made up of really nice, friendly people.
You don't got anything on me. Let's go. Square up.
Let me get back to you on that.
And we're back, lacrosse fans from Salt Lake City, Utah. Your score is 21-0 for the Utes over Utah State. Utah, number 2 ranked team in the country behind Chapman. A lot of chat on Twitter about whether that's right or wrong. What do you think, Drew?
You know, it's that's a tough one. I haven't studied Chapman. I don't know who they've played. I don't know what their scores are, but I would say I would be really interested to see that matchup, and you know, I have maybe a biased feeling that Utah would come away with a pretty good W there. It's just hard to beat the athletes all over the field and deep on the bench that Utah has. The coaching staff, obviously, it's tough to beat out there. But I don't get a vote, so you know.
Keep your tweets coming in here, folks. Tweet from Serena Valencia says, watching the game with Caden Bear in Brazil.
Fantastic.
Our broadcast has gone international, Drew.
What a beautiful place to be.
Caden Bear, a former D-pole for the Utes last year, as Ian Elson takes the face-off. As we see a nice little play there as Cole Watson gets the goal. All started with that face-off win by Elson. I think that might have been Elson's first face-off, at least in the past 2 years that I've seen.
Yeah, he was a good face-off guy in high school over there at Riverton. So I'm not surprised he came away with a good one there. I thought he did a great job scooping up the ground ball. That was a tough one to handle, and then getting rid of it really fast too. You know, that's what all the coaches are preaching. You know, get the ball up and out, off the ground, and move it at least once. That time they moved it twice, found a skip pass, and beautiful fast, kind of fast break finish.
Elson again, selling out, putting the body on the floor, still comes away with it, maybe. As Aiden Christian comes up with it. Ball is still down. Ball is still on the ground. Okay, Utah State comes up with it. And Utah State comes away with it. Pretty confident that is the case here. Okay.
Wow, that was a messy ground ball there.
Going back to the Chapman, Utah 1 versus 2. I'm okay with the rating. You know, Chapman has played a tougher schedule than Utah.
Sure.
You know, at the beginning of the year, the Utah schedule looked pretty tough with, you know, Cal Poly, Cal. Oregon is typically a top 15 team.
Texas up there too.
Texas,
yeah.
Absolutely. And so, you know, as things happen, the season progresses, and those teams maybe aren't what they were last year, which we can talk about the preseason MCLA poll and if that's a good idea or not. But yeah, and Chapman has played a tougher schedule. Now,
you also got to give Utah credit for doing their job and coming out and handling those teams, and
sure,
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
haven't had any real close games.
Absolutely. There's only been, if you count the scrimmage with Westminster last week, there's only been 2 games where everyone hasn't played, and so I think that speaks to what the starters kind of do when they're in that first half, getting, you know, time for the backups. Another interesting fact here, Drew, I keep saying this with caution and looking for wood to knock on, but Utah has never trailed this season in any game. So
yeah, no, that
something to be said there, I think. So yeah,
for sure. I mean, you know, I think they're going to go into quite a different situation next year, so I think the coaches may want to see maybe a little bit of some of that adversity. You know, how does your team respond if you are down, if you are in a tough spot?
Absolutely.
You know, maybe they can get that in the next few games in the Colorado trip and BYU.
And, you know, a lot of people look at, you know, having a scrimmage with Westminster in the middle of the season, like, what are you doing? You know, usually scrimmages are before. But it was a perfect time because the Utes were coming off spring break, going up against Westminster, who's a great NCAA Division II program. And, you know, the practice before that game, coach said, look, we haven't been tested in the second half. I'm expecting to get tested in the second half of the Westminster game. Now, the score was 70-10. It was a great matchup for the Utes, and obviously they handled it well. So, like you said, they're going to be entering tough waters here. Again, 4 games in 10 days.
Yeah, that would be tough.
Two of those obviously in Colorado against Colorado State and Colorado. And obviously can't overlook Colorado State, even though on paper they're having a down year as they beat Grand Canyon a few weeks ago. So, and obviously Colorado playing extremely well too. So we're going to get a white offsides. Ball's going to go with Utah State. So Utah definitely has their work cut out for them. And then obviously BYU the week after, always a challenge. And then, you play one, if not 2 of those teams again in the RMLC playoffs. And then obviously the national tournament, as we see a save by Zach Johns. Outlets to Austin Porter. So certainly, a bunch of tough games ahead for Utah. And so it'll be interesting to see how they react. I think with the polls, I think you have some coaches who vote treat it more like a power ranking.
Yeah.
And so they're looking at who's playing the best right now. And so I think in that case, maybe it is Chapman, but then you have coaches who also vote who's the best team, who they feel the best team is overall. And then I think, in that case, it's hard to tell from the results, but maybe it is the Utes. So always fun. Polls don't necessarily mean something. In the MCLA, it's a little tricky though, because they have affected seeding in the national tournament, which, going back to virtually varsity, they tweeted that they looked at the national champions in the MCLA from the last 15 years or so, and every single one of them, as we see some nice ball movement here by the Utes, every single one of them was a 1 or 2 seed, with the exception being a 3 seed, and that was BYU in 2011. So, if history repeats itself and you want to win the MCLA championship, you need to be a 1 or a 2 seed.
Yeah.
So, Utes in a good position, though, I think. As we see a nice shot there by Dean Anderson. Utes in a good position, though. Obviously, they won the RMLC regular season last year. Got tripped up in the playoffs by BYU in that first round. So,
It's always a tough matchup with BYU.
Yeah.
There's a lot to look forward to here the next few weeks, definitely, and heading into the tournament. That'll be an event that you don't want to miss. It's going to be a lot of good lacrosse.
Absolutely.
Able to watch it without going anywhere.
Sure, if you think of the RMLC tournament, let's assume Utah takes the 1 seed and Colorado State takes the 4 seed. So that's one game. And then on the other side, you've got Colorado and BYU.
Yeah.
That's a top, what is BYU, 7? So that's a top 7 matchup. As we see a great goal there by Grayson Goodyear. And then your championship game's gonna, assuming Utah wins, and it's gonna be Utah BYU or Utah CU in that RMLC championship game. So just lots of phenomenal games upcoming here for the Utes. So
absolutely, I can't wait.
And then the MCLA tournament, always a fun event. I had the opportunity to go last year. I went to the one in 2010 in Denver. Just a fun time. I hope Utah fans who are local watching this broadcast can get out to that. It's an exciting tournament. See lots of different teams. It's fun to see, like Florida State, Virginia Tech, Boston College, all those teams kind of converge. And that is one of the beauties of the MCLA is they do have some of those big P5 schools that converge in that week. And the Salt Lake Recreational Center out there on the west side is just a phenomenal facility. I think it's in its 3rd year of operation.
Right. Get to play some men's league games out there.
Yeah. Again,
familiar with those grounds.
Sure. Great, nice, flat grass fields. They're all next to each other. Lots of different fields. They have turf fields in case it rains really hard for some reason. So they'll definitely be ready. In fact, the tournament director Matt Holman is in Salt Lake City in about, what time is it? His flight comes in about 24 minutes. So he'll be in town tomorrow working with the venue and working with hotels on getting everything squared away. So we're pretty close to having the MCLA tournament here. So if you're a MCLA fan the best is yet to come, I'd say.
Absolutely, I agree.
We'll leave it at that. Had a tweet come in from Tim Mackey, that's Quinault's dad, up there in Seattle. Asked if the new field will be turf. The new field will be grass as well. And then there will be a practice field or a warm-up field that is turf. So, you know, if weather gets inclement, we can just move games to the turf field when the time comes. So, the new lacrosse facility though is going to be great. Coach Holman has pushed hard to have the lacrosse offices in the building. The University Athletics Department is kind of unique in that every coach, every staff has offices in the Huntsman Center. So they don't have them. You know, football has their own office down in their center, but that's sort of in the corner of campus. But every other coach, every other staff is in that Huntsman Center. So that'll be something different for the soccer and lacrosse teams when that stadium's built.
The D-man number 20, Ryan Lemon, loses the ball.
29, Matt Finelli, getting the ball up to 31, Oscar Krantz. Who gets it to Ian Elson with the shot, goes wide. Utah State with a new goalie in. I think we decided that was Zach Blamires.
Sounds right.
Freshman goalie. 3 goals allowed on the season, 2 saves, so he's probably seen limited time. Good to see him get out there. As we see Nutter give it over to John Rose. Gets it to Watson.
You know, even though you're down, you know, quite a bit, getting that freshman out there I think is important. Let him see, you know, lacrosse at a really high level, and you know, just experience. Game experience is invaluable.
Absolutely. About midway here through this quarter, we're going to see Utah make a goalie change. Zach John sprints off the field, gets Max Holmes in.
Keeper for the Utes, number 11, Max Holmes.
Good to see Max get out there. Max broke his thumb before the first road trip last year.
Oh.
Just terrible timing.
Yeah, that's...
Played in one game last year. So you see a shot there by Smooth go wide.
Shot by the Utes.
Max, just a great kid, great teammate. I might have told this story before, but at tryouts, you know, I was looking at who was coming back, and I saw his name and was just really excited. You know, I felt that, you know, it wasn't an ideal for him last year, getting hurt and then only playing in one game. As we see a nice pick off there by Smooth, who finds JoJo on the nice heads-up play. But as I was saying, I was just so excited to see Max come back. Just a great kid, great player, great teammate, like we've talked about. So,
absolutely, sounds like a team that, you know, a great addition to a team. You know, whether you see the field all the time or not, if you can be a good teammate and encourage and push the guys in front of you, that's huge for a team.
A couple tweets coming in. Still haven't heard back from Utah State regarding their first injured player. We'll see if we can get an update there. Utah State comes away with it. Checked out by Austin Porter. Nice little trail check. Utes unable to collect. Josh Biggs on defense for the Utes there. We see a Utah State goal. Slide help came a little late from the Utes. His number 2, Tanner Smith, getting his 12th goal of the year for the Aggies. 5:18 left.
Yeah, just able to get underneath the defender there. You know, good hard drive to the cage.
Yeah, you see that
late
there.
Slide and
good goal by Smith. So the Aggies pull one back here, Drew.
They got a long ways to go, but you know, they won that possession.
Yeah, they earned it.
Did something positive.
Yeah. Coach is making sure that no credit is given for an assist. Kind of strange. This reminds me of a game. I coached a 7th and 8th grade team many moons ago, and we were beating the team pretty handily. And one of the opposing team's fans yelled, "We got them right where we want them."
I love it. Keep it light. Have some fun. I mean, it is It is serious for these guys, but you know, it's also a sport, and you get a chance, you know, to come out here, play, run around. I mean, my favorite thing was having somebody come to our practice and made all the players look up at the University of Utah Hospital, and just made a point to tell all of our players that there's hundreds of kids up in that hospital that would, you know, give anything they could to trade places to come run sprints with the team. And it brings you back down to earth and makes you grateful for every second you get out there.
Yeah, you know, again, we've talked about the season that Utah State's had, but you know, they've had the opportunity to travel to California as a team. You know, they've been in some close games. They've won 2 games this year, and so, you know, you're right. Just kind of having that overall perspective really puts a positive mark. You know, you can lose. You know, take Gus for example. Perfect example. When I was doing my podcast with him, that you can find on uteslacrosse.com. He mentioned that until last year with Utah, he had never been on a winning team. And so most kids, you know, might look at that and give up on the sport, but definitely hasn't. As you see, a nice shot there by Watson. Find that top right corner, 3:43 left in this game. But, you know, it's just important to have that perspective, realize that we all love sports, but not necessarily the most important thing in life. So,
absolutely.
And I think, you know, to be honest, being around the coaching staff, that's something that they preach a lot. You know, Coach Holman sent out a tweet or a text to the team this week talking about how, you know, the Utah Lacrosse program is based on our pillars, and our pillars are on our website. You can go check those out. Nice little graphic on those, but if we stick to the pillars of Utah Lacrosse, wins will come, right? If you stick to the pillars, good things will happen to you on the lacrosse field. But then he said, if you stick to the pillars in life, good things will happen to you in life. And Coach Holman, the rest of the coaching staff are adamant about making sure that these players are great lacrosse players, but more importantly, great people. And that's something that, you know, every coach should strive for. You know, some coaches preach it but don't actually practice it. But I'm personally convinced if this team never won a game the rest of its tenure, but Coach Holman made them into better people, he would consider it a success.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. It's Joe Ehrman's book, Inside Out Coaching. It's got a quote in there, you know, where a parent comes up and asks them, you know, how successful were you this season? He said, we'll find out in 20 years.
I like it.
You know, what kind of fathers are the boys? What kind of, you know, workers, kind of community people are they? So I think that's pretty similar to the sentiment that Coach Holman has.
Just about 2:30 left in this ball game. Utah with the 25-1 score line. Aggie coach is trying to get a timeout. Yeah, there we go.
Timeout called by the Aggies.
So Utah State takes a timeout. 2:18 left here, Drew. What do you think you tell the team?
Win the possession, right? You know, they're going to get through their offense. I think the last goal they got was a little bit of an unsettled situation. See if they can draw something up here, get something out of some 6-on-6. You know, last possession, I said that we'd look for maybe Braxton Fell, number 13, coming off of a pick. There really wasn't any picks, anything much off ball, which led to player getting stripped and Utah coming away with the ball. So hopefully this time they come out with something a little bit more creative, maybe some sort of an off ball action.
Okay, but, maybe a little trickery.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not go for a hidden ball trick? You know, either way, you want to see, as a coaching standpoint, you want to see what you're asking them to do. You want to see that executed, just so that you can, you know, have a peace of mind that the players understand what you're talking about. If they go out and don't execute what was drawn up, then, you know, you got to go back to the drawing board and practice, and, you know, make sure that terminology is crystal clear.
Absolutely. I think for Utah, it's probably just keep the guys in front of you. No cheap shots, meaning offensive shots. You know,
right.
obviously, we don't want to ever take cheap shots, but and just make sure to come away with the ball here. Your defense is Max Holmes, Tommy O'Day, Oscar Krantz, Nick Farnsworth, Steele Heaton, DZ, and Jake Nutter. So we see Utah State with the ball, number 4, Spencer Schoonmaker. What a name. Utah State in what looks like 2-3-1. Utah State finds some space. Krantz with the slide. Tries to dunk it in. Goes outside. Krantz comes away with it. DZ with the ball, unable to collect, but fights hard to get the ground ball back. Nice defense by Utah State. Gonna get a hold on Utah State. DZ tried to get up and the guy was right over him.
Yeah, the ball just trickled out there, so the hold, loose ball. Just simple restart, keep going.
Just about a minute 10 here left. Grayson Goodyear over to Cole Watson. Gets it up to Nutter. Over to Rose, goes to JoJo. Utes in that same 2-3-1. Utes content to just work this one around as time dwindles down.
Just watching the seconds tick here. I think they'll probably start to get a little bit of motion. About 25 seconds, 20 seconds left.
Looking ahead here for the Utes, Drew, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Saturday at Utah Valley, about 45 minutes south here, down in Orem, Utah. That game will be at 1 p.m. Next Thursday, a week from tonight, the Utes will be in Colorado to face Colorado State. And then the following Saturday will be at Colorado Boulder. The game's at 1 p.m. And then coming home after that, the next Thursday, so in 2 weeks, it'll be BYU on the 19th as we see the time expire here. Utah taking home a 25-1 victory over the Utah State Aggies. Drew, what do you tell your team if you're Utah State after this one?
If you're Utah State, you know, that's a tough conversation to have. I think you kind of open it up to the players, ask them all, you know, make sure that they learn something from this experience, you know, something that somebody else did good on the team, you know, or did well on the team. So I should use proper English, you know. And you're just trying to keep things positive, keep it light. Hopefully their player Caden Underwood is okay. Still haven't gotten any word from the hospital, but
haven't heard back. Yeah. What are you telling the team if you're Coach Holman?
Coach Holman, man, I'm just telling it to keep focus. You know, can't let any big wins get to your head. Certainly not. You know, trying to look too far ahead. You got a game on Saturday, so, you know,
yeah,
take a minute to feel this win and,
sure.
and
I'll be honest, I tried to talk to Coach about the Colorado trip. He said, I don't know, we got a game tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yep.
So they're definitely keeping that attitude. And fun game here tonight in Salt Lake City. We want to thank you for joining us. Feel free to tweet at us any of your post-game thoughts, any predictions maybe for the UVU game on Saturday. And thanks for tuning in, folks.
Tribal West is the first name in lacrosse out west. For more than 15 years, Tribal West has been gearing up beginners to ballers. Our online store is super easy, and we